The first time I realized I was ambitious but lazy, I was sitting on my bed at 2 a.m. staring at a dream I couldn't even start. I had big goals, big ideas, and big plans, but my energy was always low, my motivation always tomorrow. If you're watching this, you probably feel the same. You want success, but your body and mind keep choosing comfort. And the worst part, you know deep down you're capable of more. Today, I want to tell you a story that might sound familiar.
Where did
It's
that
about a
go?
guy who had a dream bigger than his excuses. He wanted to build a better life, make money, get respect, and feel proud of himself. But every time he tried to take action, he ended up scrolling, sleeping, or finding some reason to delay. He wasn't lazy because he was weak. He was lazy because his brain was stuck in a loop. The moment that changed everything happened on a normal day. Nothing dramatic, no big event, no sudden inspiration. Just a simple choice that he didn't even realize would decide his future. He met someone who looked calm, confident, and successful, and this person said something that hit him like a punch in the chest. Ambition without action is just a fantasy. That sentence shook him because he realized he wasn't just lazy, he was trapped in a cycle that was slowly stealing his potential. And then something happened that made him question everything he believed about hard work, motivation, and success. But before he could fix it, his whole plan started falling apart. And that's where this story begins. The next morning, he woke up with a strange mix of excitement and fear. For the first time in months, he felt like something real was happening in his life, but he also felt the weight of his own habits. He knew he couldn't keep living like this, dreaming big and doing nothing. He kept asking himself why he was stuck. Was he lazy? Was he scared? Or was there something deeper? To understand him, you need to know what his life looked like. He wasn't a bad person. He wasn't addicted to anything extreme. He didn't have a terrible past or a broken home. He had a normal life, a small job, a small apartment, a small routine, but inside he had a huge hunger. He wanted to become someone different, someone successful, confident, and respected. He wanted to stop feeling ashamed every time he compared himself to others. The problem was his brain kept lying to him. It told him that he needed the perfect moment to start.
Come back.
It told him that he needed more energy, more time, or more motivation.
I'll do it
It told
today.
him that he would be better tomorrow. So he kept
Maybe
postponing,
tomorrow.
and every postponed day made the next day even harder. His dream became a shadow he couldn't catch. Then came the first sign that something was wrong. He started losing small things like focus, time, and confidence. He noticed he was forgetting simple tasks, missing deadlines, and feeling anxious for no reason. It wasn't just laziness anymore. It was like his mind was quietly sabotaging him. And then the person he met the day before sent him a message. It wasn't inspiring or motivating.
you ready
it was
to
a
pay the
challenge,
price for
a
your
simple
dream?
question that made his stomach twist. Are you ready to pay the price for your dream? He stared at that message for minutes, unsure whether to reply. He didn't know what price meant, but he felt the tension rising, because deep down he knew that this was the moment where his life could change or collapse. He didn't reply right away. Instead, he started thinking about the price like it was a real thing, not just a word. The truth is, he already knew the cost of his dream. It was the cost of time, effort, and discipline. It was the cost of waking up early, facing discomfort, and doing the boring work that nobody sees. He just never wanted to pay it. He wanted results without the grind. He wanted results without the sacrifice. And that was the main conflict inside him. His ambition was fighting his laziness every day. While he was thinking, another problem began to appear. His friends started noticing the change in him. Not the positive change, just the tension. One friend joked, "Bro, you look stressed. Are you
Bro,
doing too
you look
much?"
stressed.
Another friend
Are
said,
you doing
"You've been
too
quiet
much?"
lately. Everything okay?" He smiled and lied, saying he was fine, but he wasn't fine. He was scared because he knew that if he started taking action, he might lose the comfort he was used to. He might lose the easy excuses. He might lose the familiar life that felt safe, even if it wasn't making him happy. At the same time, his boss at work was becoming more demanding. The company needed results, and he was falling behind. He was tired of the job, but he needed the money. The pressure was growing from both sides, the dream inside him and the reality outside him. It felt like he was trapped in a small room with two doors, one leading to comfort, the other leading to risk. Then the person who challenged him showed up again, but this time in real life. He met him at a cafe, and the man looked calm, like he had already won the battle of life. He said, "Most people fail because they don't understand their own mind. They think motivation is the answer, but it's not. The answer is a system. He paused, then added something that made the air feel heavy. If you want to change, you have to break your own habits, and habits are harder to break than any enemy. That sentence hit him harder than the first, because he realized the real conflict wasn't the outside world, it was his own mind, and he didn't know if he was strong enough to win. After that meeting, he couldn't stop thinking about the word system. It sounded simple, but he knew it wasn't. Systems meant routines. Routines meant consistency. Consistency meant showing up even when he didn't feel like it. And showing up was the part he feared the most. Because if he started, there was no going back. If he started, he would have to face the truth. His dream was not a fantasy, it was a responsibility. That night, he sat on his bed again, but this time something felt different. The room was quiet, but his mind was loud. He tried to imagine his future if he kept living the same way. He imagined himself 5 years later, still in the same place, still dreaming, still stuck. He could feel the pain of regret even now. He could feel the shame of watching other people move forward while he stayed behind. Then he imagined the other side. What if he changed? What if he built a system? What if he started small and stayed consistent? The thought gave him hope, but also fear, because change meant leaving comfort, change meant facing discomfort, change meant being judged by others, change meant risking failure. The next day, he decided to try. He wrote a plan, a simple one. But before he could even start, life hit him again. His boss called him into the office and criticized his performance. His friend texted him, asking to hang out. His phone buzzed with distractions. The world was pulling him back into his old habits, like gravity pulling him down. He felt the tension rising inside him like a storm. He knew he had to choose, and the choice was not easy. He could either follow his dream or follow his comfort. He could either become the person he wanted to be or stay the person he was. And then, right when he was about to take his first step, something happened that made his heart stop. His phone screen lit up with a message from the same person who had challenged him. It wasn't a motivational quote, it was a warning. Don't start if you're not ready to lose everything. His hands shook as he read it, because he realized the price of his dream was going to be higher than he ever imagined. And the moment he took the first step, there was no turning back. He stared at that message for a long time, unable to breathe. The words kept repeating in his mind like a warning sign flashing red. Don't start if you're not ready to lose everything. What did that even mean? Lose everything? Was this guy testing him, or was he trying to scare him away? The more he thought about it, the more his fear grew. But something inside him also felt strangely awake. It was like the first time he felt real pressure, real consequences. And suddenly, his dream didn't feel like a fantasy anymore. It felt like a decision. He tried to shake it off and continue with his plan, but the day kept getting worse. His boss called him again, this time more serious. You need to improve, or we might have to let you go. The words hit him like a punch. The job was the safety net that kept him alive, but it was also the cage that kept him stuck. Now the cage was breaking, and he didn't know whether to feel relieved or terrified. When he left the office, he went to the cafe where he had met the mysterious man. He needed answers. He needed to know what price meant. He needed to know what he was getting into. But the cafe was empty. The man wasn't there. The staff didn't know him. It was like he had never existed. He felt a chill run through his body. Just as he was about to leave, his phone rang. It was an unknown number. He answered, and a calm voice spoke. I'm glad you're still listening. The voice sounded familiar, but he couldn't place it. Who are you? He asked. There was a pause. I'm someone who has been where you are. Someone who has watched people like you fail because they didn't understand the real battle. The battle isn't motivation, it's control. He felt his stomach tighten. What do you want? The voice replied, I want to help you. But first, you have to understand something. Your laziness isn't the problem, it's the symptom. The real problem is your environment. He looked around the cafe, then at his phone, then at his own hands. What do you mean? The voice said, you are surrounded by people who keep you small. You are surrounded by distractions that steal your time. You are surrounded by habits that make you feel safe. If you want to change, you have to break the circle. He felt the tension rising again. This was more than a motivational talk. This was a plan,
Break the
a
circle.
system, but it sounded dangerous. It sounded like a total life change, and he wasn't sure he was ready. Then the voice said the line that made his heart drop. There's one more thing. Your boss is not your biggest enemy. Your friend is not your biggest distraction. The real threat is closer than you think. He swallowed hard. What do you mean? The voice whispered, you are being watched. And just like that, the story took a turn he never expected. The conflict wasn't just about laziness anymore. It was about something bigger, something hidden, something that could destroy everything he was trying to build. He stood there, frozen, as the voice on the phone ended with that chilling line, you are being watched. His heart was pounding like it was going to explode. He looked around the cafe again, but everything seemed normal. The same chairs, the same menu board, the same quiet hum of the refrigerator. Nothing looked suspicious, but his mind was screaming that something was wrong. He realized he had two choices. He could go back to his old life, keep his comfort, and pretend the dream never mattered, or he could face the fear and take the first real step toward change. He looked down at his plan, the simple system he had written, and he knew the answer. He couldn't keep running. He had to act. That night, he decided to start. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. He woke up early, cleaned his room, turned off his phone, and sat down with his notebook. He began doing the small tasks he had avoided for months. He worked for just 30 minutes, then took a break. He repeated it, and for the first time, he felt a different kind of energy. Not the fake motivation that disappears after a few minutes, real momentum. The kind that comes from taking control. But the pressure didn't disappear. His boss called again, this time with a warning. If you don't improve, you're out. His friends invited him to hang out, trying to pull him back into the old life, and the mysterious messages kept coming like someone was testing him. Then, when he thought he was finally making progress, he received one final message from the unknown number. It said only one sentence. Good, now you know the truth. He froze. His hands were shaking. He opened the message again, and this time he noticed something he hadn't seen before, an address. It was his own apartment number. He looked around his room, suddenly feeling like he wasn't alone. And then he realized the twist he never expected. The person who had been watching him wasn't an enemy. It was himself. The system, the pressure, the warnings, it was all a test he had created in his own mind. Because the real battle wasn't outside, it was inside him. And now the final choice was no longer between comfort and success. It was between becoming someone new or falling back into the same old life forever. He sat there for a long time, staring at his phone, trying to understand what had just happened. It felt like the whole story had been a maze, one where the walls were built by his own mind. He realized the mystery wasn't someone else trying to stop him. It was his own fear, his own doubt, and his own habit of self-sabotage. The messages, the warnings, the pressure, they were all reflections of what he had been telling himself for years. And when he finally understood that, something inside him changed. Not instantly, but quietly. He felt the weight of his old excuses lift just a little. He knew that the real enemy wasn't laziness. It was the belief that he couldn't change. It was the belief that he wasn't worthy of success. It was the belief that he would always be stuck. He decided to take control of his life, not by waiting for motivation, but by building a system. He started small with daily habits that were easy to maintain. He set clear goals, broke them into simple steps, and tracked his progress. He didn't try to become perfect overnight. He just tried to become consistent. And as he kept showing up, he noticed something surprising. His confidence began to grow. His focus became stronger. His energy improved. His dreams started to feel closer. His job didn't disappear, but his mindset did. He stopped seeing work as a cage and started seeing it as a tool. His friends still invited him to hang out, but he learned to say no when it didn't support his goals. He didn't become a different person overnight, but he became a person who was moving forward. In the end, he didn't win because of a dramatic event or a magical secret. He won because he chose to fight the real battle inside his mind. And that's the lesson for you too. If you're ambitious but lazy, the only way to break free is to build a system face the discomfort and keep showing up. Because your dream isn't going to wait, and neither should you. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe to my channel.